Imagine being so talented that Hollywood calls you a once-in-a-generation genius, and so self-destructive that Hollywood literally locks you out. Imagine being the highest-paid actor on Earth after once being uninsurable. That's Robert Downey Jr. And this story is not clean. It's chaotic. It's dark. And it almost didn't end well. Let's start where it gets uncomfortable. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't some random struggling kid. He was born into Hollywood. His father was an underground filmmaker. He grew up around cameras, scripts, actors, chaos. Acting wasn't a dream, it was oxygen. By the 1980s, he's already the charismatic bad boy of young Hollywood. Sharp jawline, fast talker, magnetic energy. He steals scenes without trying. Even when he's not the lead, you watch him. Then comes 1992, Chaplin. He plays Charlie Chaplin so convincingly that critics lose their minds. He gets an Oscar nomination. He's 27 years old and already being called one of the greatest actors of his generation. That should have been the launch. Instead, it becomes the warning. Behind the charm, there's addiction, drugs, chaos, arrests, rehab, relapse, again, and again. By the mid-90s, the headlines aren't about talent. They're about police reports. He's arrested multiple times, found wandering, breaking into houses, serving jail time, fired from projects. At one point, he's so unreliable that insurance companies refuse to cover him. No insurance means no studio will touch you. Think about that. Hollywood loves talent, but it hates risk. And Robert Downey Jr. became radioactive. He lands a role on Ally McBeal, looks like a comeback, wins a Golden Globe, then relapses again. Fired, public humiliation, career collapse. By the early 2000s, he's not a rising star. He's a cautionary tale. And this is where most stories end, but his doesn't. Something shifts. He gets sober. Not for a month, not for PR, actually sober. And slowly, quietly, a few directors start taking a risk. Small roles, supporting parts, indie films, no hype, no headlines. Then 2008 happens. A gamble. Marvel isn't the empire it is today. It's barely standing. They need a lead for a risky superhero movie about a second-tier comic character. Iron Man. The studio wants a star. The director wants Downey. The insurance companies hesitate. They bet on him anyway. And here's the twist. Tony Stark isn't just a role. It's Robert Downey Jr. with a suit. Arrogant, brilliant, self-destructive, charismatic, funny, broken, redeemed. The performance explodes. Iron Man becomes a hit. Not just a hit, a cultural earthquake. That movie launches the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a franchise that makes billions, a machine that dominates cinema for over a decade, and Robert Downey Jr. becomes its beating heart. From uninsurable to irreplaceable, from jail cell to global icon, from collapse to the face of the most successful film franchise in history. By the 2010s, he's the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Tens of millions per film, back-end deals, massive bonuses. Every appearance feels electric. His charisma isn't manufactured, it's chaotic. It feels alive. He doesn't play Tony Stark, he is Tony Stark. And audiences know it. When Avengers Endgame arrives, the emotional weight hits differently because we've watched this man rebuild himself in real life. The redemption arc wasn't written, it happened. And here's the part most people ignore. A comeback is easy to celebrate. Staying relevant after the comeback is harder. When Iron Man ends, so does an era. Marvel shifts. The spotlight moves. The question lingers. Was he the engine or just the driver? He steps away, chooses smaller roles, experiments, wins awards again, reinvents himself not as a superhero but as an actor with depth. And now, years after his darkest chapter, he's respected not just as a star, but as a survivor. And here's what makes this story powerful. Most legends rise once. Very few survive their own destruction. Robert Downey Jr. did both. He fell harder than most actors ever will, and then he came back stronger than almost anyone thought possible. But the real question isn't whether he was talented. It's this. Would Iron Man have worked without the chaos he lived through? Would Tony Stark feel real without the broken man behind the mask? Sometimes the darkest chapters don't destroy you. They forge you. And in Robert Downey Jr.'s case, they built a legend.